everyone, and welcome to a special summer sports night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. I'm excited because we've got a good lineup, good guests here tonight, and a lot of fun things to talk about.
We do. A lot of stuff goes on in the off season, obviously, and to get us up to speed, we start with Activities Director Jeff Thompson. Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for the invite.
And we're going to start with plenty of stuff to talk about, but there's been some improvements at the school, as there always is over the summer. But one major piece for sports fans.
Yeah, so year two as the AD, year one provided some pretty fun challenges. In the fall, we had a bit of a construction issue that caused our East Gym to flood. And then fast forward to, we ended up having to replace the entire East Gym, which then in order to do that, they had to strip and repaint and reseal our entire field house. And the end product is an absolute modern, amazing kind of new look. If you watch Timberwolf games, our court looks exactly like that. And then with some other really interesting minor details, for example, they were able to clean up our volleyball court. And so when you're watching the volleyball games, that white line will be very definitive, and you'll be able to kind of have that live action play be a lot more clear and precise. That was one. Another big one was our press box ran into a little bit of a water leak, which turned into some pretty significant structural issues. And then the Anoka Hennepin Buildings and Grounds team stepped up, raced to get that adjusted and fixed and corrected, and so internally have a better place for you guys when you're doing your Emmy Award-winning show, for sure.
Well, talk about the decision in terms of how to pick that and choose that court and how to look. And also, I'd like to know, because we did put in a request for air conditioning and a food bar in the press box. Were you able to get that in?
So unfortunately, we weren't able to. I think I heard one estimate with the AC was like a $5 million project. Yeah. And so if you guys want to cut a check, I'll do it. I'll get that started right away.
Just don't cash it. I'll give you a check.
But no, so we obviously want to, because it represents so much to the school, we wanted to make sure that every stakeholder had kind of a say in it. So everything from tennis, which in the springtime does some indoor work there, to our Phi-Ed classes, and using that during the school day, to our volleyball and basketball and track and things like that. One of the intents was to make the space look a little bit less busy, and then adopt that new, clean kind of court look that exists. And so, they sanded that wood down and got that really bright light color, added some of the darker stains instead of paints at the key and around some of those parts of the court, and then that perimeter, really that bright red, with the CRHS logo and stuff in that, and it really just pops. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of the court, and it's beautiful, and we definitely look forward to seeing the Cardinals in action on the floor in just a matter of weeks.
Yeah,
and a lot to be excited about this year. One thing for hockey fans, a huge change with the boys hockey team now co-oping with Spring Lake Park.
Yeah, and changes like that, I know, bring a lot of emotion, right? Because Coon Rapids is the school that it is and has a long, amazing history that it does. Any changes to that, sometimes can bring some emotions. However, I will say I've never been more impressed with a sports community than the hockey community, as they together united and picked up and have absolutely taken off with that. And so both the teams coming together, having joint captains, coming with some joint logos and branding and colors and things like that, have really done something special. And so absolutely so excited for, I don't want to race the fall, but really excited to see that in action, because there was a lot of work and a lot of communication and things that went into that. So have an amazing coach with Coach Connor, and the energy and expertise that he brings. Absolutely blown away and impressed from day one, and some of the things that he had and the ideas that he brought. And so just really excited to see all of that during competition time.
Yeah, we also have a new boys soccer coach. Of course, we're going to be talking to both of them later. Talk about the process in terms of what you guys do, what you're looking for in the hiring process and bringing a new coach into the program.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of variables, that go into that. And really, for me, one of the things that I say in interviews is I'm looking for individuals to match the rich history and the strong foundation of Coon Rapids High School. And so I'm looking for coaches that want to build and to be part of that, not looking for individuals looking for stepping stones or this or that. And so really kind of tailoring interviews and conversations and questions. And I don't know what I did to deserve the hiring this summer, but besides hockey, absolutely landed an absolute amazing boys soccer coach, and that impact and that evidence has been instantly. And so just seeing that energy and creativity and effort that has happened right off the bat, it really has been a fun thing to sit back and watch.
Well, obviously, a lot goes on behind the curtain, so to speak, between seasons. What other exciting things do you have in store for this upcoming year?
Well, having finished year one, absolutely astonished at some amazing, unique opportunities that I had and got to be part of. Our comp cheer team winning state, our boys basketball team going to state, our theater program making it into the Spotlight Awards again for the 6th year in a row. There's just a lot of really cool things happening, and that compounds and builds an energy in the space. And so this summer, it just seems like practices and effort and performance is different. Watching some of those kids and the gains that they've made over the summer is absolutely so fun to be part of, and that energy builds. And so I think you're going to see that this season, all of our seasons, and I think you'll see that in all of our activities throughout the 24-25 school year.
It's hard to believe we're talking about 24-25 as a school year, and we couldn't be happier about getting another year started. It is right around the corner.
It is. Yep.
So I'd like to thank you, Jeff, for coming in and joining us and kind of helping us get up to speed.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break, and we will be back with new boys hockey coach of the Co-op Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids program, Mr. Gagnon, after this. Back on this summer special edition of Sports Night with Howie Shapiro. I'm Joe Young, and now we are fortunate to be joined by the new boys hockey coach, Connor Gagnon. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy to be here.
First of all, you've already had, this happened early in the spring.
Yep.
Already had your STP summer workouts. How have things gone so far? Man,
I've been so happy with the way things have started off for us. It was a little bit of a chaotic spring and early summer, trying to get things organized and planned and making sure we were able to get both groups together. Obviously, with you're bringing two different groups of kids, two different communities together. I felt it was super important to get that summer program up and going with both groups, and thankfully we were able to do it. And the kids, I can't say enough good things about how well they've gotten along, how well they've came together, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be around them so far. So,
talk a little bit about especially the Coon Rapids kids coming into your program and how they reacted to you at first, and how different is it going to be between what you do and what Coach Frock has done?
Yeah, so the Coon Rapids kids have been awesome. I think it's a testament to obviously the parents and just the community overall. They produce some great young men, and it's been very easy to work with them and get to know them. They're very smart, and they've taken to the things that we've been teaching them, and they've kind of taken everything in stride and done a really good job so far. So it's been like I said, been very refreshing and an absolute pleasure to inherit such a good group of kids.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a conference rivalry, obviously, in a border foe.
Had a lot of fun games in the past.
But, yeah, I mean, we had an overtime one on CTN just last year.
Yep.
Kept us on the edge of our seats. fantastic competitions, but I would imagine, especially with the Coon Rapids kids who lost that very talented senior group, that they're excited about the ability to bring the two programs together for mutual benefit, knowing that neither would be where they want to be separately this season especially.
Absolutely. I think both groups, honestly, are very excited about the opportunity that we have. Again, I think with what we being Spring Lake Park had returning in terms of our senior class, we have a pretty strong group. And then some of the CR kids that we're getting, Caden Elfin, Jack Engberg, just to name a couple, getting some high-end players like that, it's really going to help the group. And we have an opportunity, I think, to be really competitive. And I think that's really all anybody can ask for, right? It's as long as you can show up to every game feeling like you got a chance to win and compete, I think it's a recipe for success and a fun season. So I think everybody's really excited about it.
We've seen a lot of Coach Rock's, obviously, program. What differs between what you do and what he did in terms of how you run a program?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of differences. I mean, for me, it's the most important thing is developing good young men. Obviously, hockey, it's not going to last forever for 99% of the kids that come through our program. So making sure they're coming out a better person on the when they graduate after coming through our program, I think that's the most important thing. But in terms of play on the ice, try to be as structured and disciplined as we can defensively on that side of the puck. But we want our kids to to play free and take some chances here or there and try to fill up the net as best we can. So it should be should be relatively similar in that sense.
Well, and you've got two teams that have been about the same spot in the standings. The ability, the question would be is this combination, will it help you try and climb those standings and maybe be a little more competitive, as you talked about, with some of those elite level teams in your conference? Yeah,
I think the forward group especially that we're going to have is going to be right up there with anybody in our conference, in my opinion. We have, I think I was looking a couple weeks ago, we returned three of the top six returning scorers in the Northwest Suburban Conference. So we have some really high-end talent up front, and some good, solid returning defensemen in net with Zach Bushy and Brock Lewick, who played every game for us at Spring Lake Park last year. I mean, we're sitting pretty good, in all aspects, but especially our forwards. We have some really, really high-end players that we're returning. So it's going to be an exciting, fun, hopefully high-scoring group.
If you were to say, you look at the season from start to finish, if you were to say, I've accomplished my goal if fill in the blank.
Well,
year one.
I think if you were to ask me that question a few weeks ago, at the start of STP, it would have been, has the group came together and gelled and meshed and kind of came together as one. And we're a good part of the way there already. The summer's been awesome. So my answer may be a little bit different now. I think now let's set some lofty expectations. I think the group, they understand that we have a chance to be, a pretty dang competitive hockey team. So we want to push for a high seed in sections. We want to push for, a winning season, overall, and hopefully, win a section game. I think, Coon Rapids has been able to do that a couple years ago in Section 7. We have not won a section game at Spring Lake Park since turning AA. So I think that'd be, that's a big thing. I think if we're able to accomplish that at the end of the year. So.
Yeah, a section win last season was big for the Cardinal program, certainly. But again, we go back to what they had lost and really would not, after having a season last year that was their best in 20 years. They would have really kind of fallen off the table with what was left. But there are some good quality players, and I guess I'm super excited to hear that they're meshing as well. I'm not very surprised because these two schools, these two communities have come together successfully in the past. First with the girls hockey program and continues with the boys lacrosse program. So, but for you, it's an extra challenge throughout because you have to get the run the gamut of a brand new program. Jeff talked about it a little bit too, about combining logos and colors and figuring out what your look's going to be like. It's just a couple months away.
Yeah, it's been. Fortunately, we had the lacrosse program came together a few years ago, so we tried to kind of just mirror that as best we could, while incorporating as much as we could from both sides. And I really kind of deferred to the captains, that Teddy Wackman, Drew Lindquist, Caden Elf, and Jack Engberg. I had some conversations with them, and hey, what do you guys think of the look? We threw out a couple different ideas, and they loved it. So we're rolling with it. And it's going to look, I think, pretty similar to what you're seeing with the lacrosse program. So I think it's going to look fresh and sharp, and it's going to be we're going to be a good looking bunch out there.
Well, I am super excited to see what happens on the ice. I as most viewers know, I take my hockey quite seriously, and I'm excited for the future of the program with this co-op, and so very appreciative for you to come in and join us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys. I'm looking forward to chatting quite a bit more as the winter approaches. So.
Well, we look forward to it as well, and we are going to take another short break, and then we will meet new soccer head coach Matt Backberg right after this. Welcome back to a summer edition of Sportsnight along with Howie Shapiro. I'm Joe Young. We are joined now by new boys soccer coach Matt Backberg. And Matt, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, tell us a little bit about your coaching background and how you came to take on the new program.
Sure. So I've been coaching for, we'll call it the better half of 6-7 years. Previously with Twin Cities Russia Club in Blaine. So that's kind of how I have been up in the area. I live, in South Minneapolis, so now I'm actually just moved clubs to MTA down there. But been coaching a handful of years, played forever, and kind of just want to stay connected to the game. And as my skills have dropped off, I've wanted to stay connected and see what I could do in developing the young talent around here.
Practice starts pretty soon. So talk about how your first your interactions with the guys, and how you're taking over the program, and how they reacted to you, and kind of that first couple impressions.
Yeah. So once I was hired on, the work pretty much started pretty much the next day. One of the big things I wanted to do, being kind of the new guy here, is get to know the players, get to know the captains, and part of that was planning putting together a comprehensive summer camp. So we've been running the camp for 3 days a week since school ended, pretty much, and it's been great. We've had a ton of guys out. I've been able to meet everybody. I brought in some new coaches, and they've been able to kind of meet everybody, and we've been able to work on kind of the principles that we're going to be working on this year and kind of instilling this year. So it's been a great summer, lots of fun getting to know the guys.
And now, I don't know how much you know about the style that they played, but do you know, will what you bring in be dramatically different than how they have played in the past?
Sure, yeah. It was actually part of my own research and before I took the job here, and I do believe our style of play will be noticeably different, I think, than last year. I think we'll look to dominate the ball quite a bit more, value possession a little bit more, and be, I think last year they were energetic and defensively pretty good. I think for me, I'll want the guys to defend a little bit higher up the field and be a little bit more aggressive in those terms. But yes, it should be noticeably different from last year.
Coming off a 3-win season, we're only, I think, was 8 goals scored last year. Talk a little bit about offensively and what your mindset is coming into this season, how you feel you can get the guys to put the ball in the back of the net a little more often.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's kind of the easy part, right? Is everybody loves to score and wants to do whatever they can to score goals. So there are certain principles and ways that I think we look to gain that final third and create good chances for ourselves. But I kind of came into a pretty good situation. I mean, there's a lot of younger players on this team that have been playing at a really high level. Some have played internationally. Some have, professional academy experience. So they know how to score goals themselves. It's, I'll just help them get there a little bit more this year.
It's always interesting to me in an Olympic year to see the surge in interest to certain sports, and soccer is one of them. Mm-hmm. When you talk to your guys, do you talk to them about watching that Olympic level soccer and what they can kind of glean and learn from watching soccer at that level?
Sure. I mean, I think game experience is part of growing as a player, right? And that is the ultimate goal, is to develop and grow these guys into the best players they can be. And it can be certainly watching games. I think playing games is probably the best way to do it. And a lot of these guys played in the USA Cup just a couple weeks ago, and I was able to get up there and watch pretty much all of them. And they did really well on their own teams, but game experience, it's a pillar of player development. So certainly we encourage that.
I'll ask you a question similar to what I asked Coach Gagnon. So obviously you come in with goals and you have a mindset of, here's the beginning of the season, here's the end of the season. What would be a successful season for your first year in your mind?
Sure. I think, to be competitive the entire year, I think to go into sections and come away with a win or 2 or maybe 3. But I think finishing quite a bit higher in the conference would certainly be, I think, step 1, right? And I think it's certainly accomplishable. And then, just set us up well for sections.
Yeah, and high praise from Mr. Thompson as he was sitting out here for how you've immediately impacted the program for the better. What are your thoughts if you were to grade yourself on where you are now? What would your grade be, and where do you think you can be at the end?
I mean, everybody's their own worst critic, right? But right. I mean, I think the camps have been really good. Certainly for me to get to know the guys, like I said, but for also the players, like I said, a lot of the players are younger. Lots of freshmen, lots of sophomores, even some juniors, honestly, that just didn't play last year. And that's really the most exciting thing for me, is to see guys come out that just did not play last year or the year before or whatever it was, because now they're excited to play and play a little bit different style. But I think if I had to grade myself right now, maybe a B-.
Okay. Well, we hope you can get yourself into the A range by the end. Yeah. By the way, I love the answer. Get us 1 win at sections, maybe 2 or even 3.
I like it.
That is a great way to approach it. But thank you so much for being with us. We're excited for another season of Coon Rapids Athletics here on Sports Night. But that's going to do it for this special summer edition. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.